So this is an instructional video on how to inoculate mushroom logs. We're growing shiitakes on oak logs, and so we're going to start by building one of these log holders, a little workbench, and then we're going to inoculate the logs. Let's get started. So I just got two 2x4s, 8 foot long, cut them in half, and now I'm going to make a little stand. So I'm going to start by measuring 10 inches down, make a little mark, and then do the same thing on the other one. So I'm just lining up the marks so I have 10 inches on the top, and that's where the log's going to sit. A couple 2.5-inch screws. Now we have two braces, and you can see with I'll put a couple of support beams, and then you can put the logs right on top. And let me go grab those. Only tricky part, it's a little awkward getting this first one started. Next, these are cut to 39 inches long, because that's about what our smallest log is. That should do it. Give it a little bit of rigidity. It doesn't have to be super strong, but now we have a little bench to work on. So I decided just to add this little extra support piece. It's just a piece of scrap. It says extra right on it. It's a little piece of a maple or something. And that way, it'll just give you something to put your tools on, or just a little extra support. Probably shouldn't put those in your mouth. They're exterior screws. But try and make it as quick as possible. Simple. Just quick and simple. Let's make some mushroom logs. Ready? You can stop, I gotta go get some tools. So these are the tools that we're going to be using. I've got an angle grinder with this adapter, which I purchased from Field and Forest, and also a little 12mm drill bit. And it just works super great. It goes really fast, as you'll see. And I've used drill bits, regular drills in the past, and this makes it go a whole lot faster. So I really recommend, if you have an angle grinder, using it or borrowing one if you can. This adapter is pretty standard. I think it's a 5/8 and it fits on any spindle. And also then after we drill the holes, we'll inoculate the mushrooms with spawn. So I have bag spawn and a little spawnerator. I don't know what you call this thing. And also it's a little nifty device. And then for capping, I just went to the grocery store and bought some paraffin wax. It should work in a pinch. I think ideally you'd use cheese wax. It's a little bit more malleable, but this works just fine, and I just put it on with a blowtorch and melt it right on, kind of like a candle. And I've used slow cookers in the past and to melt the wax, and turkey basters, but it just made a big mess, so this seems to be the fastest and easiest way to do it. So let's inoculate some mushrooms. Great. Oh, I forgot to mention, we got oak logs. These are 4 to 6 inches, about 4 feet in length. Alright, so we're going to drill holes about every 8 inches in a diamond pattern. So you can see that diamond pattern coming out. You don't have to be too picky about where to drill or how much to drill. This drill bit really makes it easy. Let it do the work. It's got a little screw on the front, so it pulls it right in there, and a stop to stop at the right point. So I like to get a little more holes towards the ends and where there's any openings, and that's just because that's where, if there's any foreign fungi coming in, they'll probably come in first through those exposed ends.
And so what do the shiitakes do?
Well, the shiitakes will take over this whole log, hopefully, and they'll run the lengthwise more, so that's why we're spacing them about 8 inches apart, maybe a little more, and pretty close together widthwise, because you'll see later on the mushrooms will really run that lengthwise. You'll see the white hyphae kind of going at it, and so that's what that elongated diamond shape is about, if you can see. And it's super easy. You want to give it a try? Great.
Well, I'm okay. Yeah, I'll do the next one. This is really fun. I don't want to stop.
Yeah, that's what I was actually thinking about, putting a third rung in here.
Oh, you could.
I've got a 2x4. I could do it right now.
Or I could just hold it. Yeah, I don't need 2 hands on this, right?
No, it's a little safer, but one-handed action. Yes, one-handed, great. Yeah, we just put a 2x4 in here. A little improvement, hopefully, so the log doesn't swing around as much. Alright, we'll set you up for inoculation. This log in here gives a little extra more stability to the 2x4. And bring the log over that you just drilled up. Set up station number 2. We're flying. That should work. So we got a little inoculation holder, our inoculator, and pretty simple. Not sure there's much to say about it. You can do it like that, you can do it one-handed. It's pretty fun. And these are red oak logs. They were cut about, I don't know, what do you say, a month ago?
Tops.
And it's been pretty cold out, so don't think any fungi have moved in. They look pretty fresh still. We got them from a woodlot that was being cleared. And ideally, white oak would be used. These just happen to be red. A good way to tell the difference between white oak and red, well, you can look at the leaves. So red oak have these pointy leaves, and white oak, here's a white oak leaf, have a round lobe, so that's white. These happen to be red. You can also tell from the bark. Red oak usually has a smoother bark, or kind of a more rough bark. I mean, how could something be smooth and rough at the same time, but the young stuff is smooth and the older stuff is more rough, whereas white oak, so here's a white oak. Around here at least it's a little bit more flaky. And here's Martha's Vineyard on the island. That generally works pretty well here. That tree behind it, yep, that's a red oak. You can see those kind of that knobby bark. But there's so much variation. The bark is kind of not always the best factor to tell. But the best way is the leaves. But if you just have the logs, you can see on the red oak over here, on the end grain, there's some little open pores. I don't know if you can see that. But white oak, you won't have those. And that's what makes, I believe, white oak more ideal for mushroom logs, is because they'll probably colonize the red oak faster, but because of that, they'll also be able to eat the whole log much quicker than white oak. And so white oak logs will probably last quite a bit longer. So we're just hoping to get a quick fruit on these, and then maybe we'll inoculate some white oak with another strain. Let's get back to inoculating. You're a pro.
Running out of holes.
All right. We might find a few when we're doing the wax, and we can patch them up, but it looks like you got them all. All right, let's cap those holes. This is paraffin wax. Like I said earlier, I think you could ideally use cheese wax, but this is what we got. Any kind of wax will work. So make sure if you're doing it this way, wear a glove. It's really easy. Just goes right on there. It doesn't make a huge mess. And you just want to cover each hole. It's actually nice that they're a little bit recessed in there, because the wax just goes right in there and fills it up. And I'll also cover these exposed edges with some wax. Once I get it on there, you just kind of clean it a little bit, and it kind of melts right in there. Rotate. And my idea is that just kind of seals it off from putting the wax on those exposed cuts, seals it off from other invading fungi, which you don't want that competing with shiitake. But it also hopefully holds that moisture in a little bit too. So I think the reason that the cheese wax is preferable to the paraffin is the paraffin is just a little bit brittle when it cools. So getting it recessed in there and filling those holes, I think, will help with that a little bit. Starting to feel the heat a little bit through the glove. It's kind of nice on this cold January day. It's actually pretty nice out. We got the sun. that's all. That's all there is to it. And then we're going to stack them up right here. So I'm going to move this log now that's been hole inoculated and the holes have been waxed over. Put it on the crib we got here. And you can see this log here with the tin. That's our one of the moisture markers. And it's important to keep the moisture, I forget what it is, you can find it online. I think it's like roughly 45% moisture you want for the shiitake run. And so by measuring these logs, we can tell the moisture weight roughly of that one and all the other ones if they've been kept in the same environment. And we did that by cutting off a little cookie from this log, weighing it wet, and then drying it out, putting it in the oven overnight at like 200, and then weighing it dry. And then there's a little formula you can run by that to figure out the moisture content. I think it turned out to be about 45% moisture in our test logs, and that's about where you want it. So later on I'll weigh this log. This is our other moisture meter log, and it should be about the same weight, and if it's not, we'll give it a water down with the hose. We've got an outdoor shower over here. Run a hose over. And maybe I'll try to, if this makes it a YouTube, maybe I'll try to post a little link or that formula. It's a pretty simple formula. It's kind of cool to give you a little estimation of what the moisture of your logs are. And that's how you do it. Thanks for watching our video. Hope you find it useful and easy and can inoculate your own mushroom logs now. And now we wait. My first video, we're going to be talking about inoculating mushroom logs. So today we're going to be talking about inoculating mushroom logs. This is my first instructional video. Hopefully it's a video. We're going to be talking about mushroom logs and how to inoculate them, and we're going to make a little stand on how to build them.